Do you remember when Pokemon cards got banned in your school? Do you remember what followed Pokemon cards after they've been banned from your school? I remember it really clearly. I remember Pokemon being such a huge thing in the playground, Pokemon cards everywhere, and then one day it was like, no, swapsies allowed. That's what we used to call it. Do your swapsies at break time, back to school. I still bought my swapsies in because never been one for rules, me. I was never strip searched for my Pokemon cards. I just wasn't allowed to do any visible swapsies. However, nobody else bought theirs in, so I used to just bring my Pokemon cards in on my own for no reason after they'd been banned. Then we found a loophole. It was called Digimon, and Digimon had their own card game. I think it was quite good, actually. I like Digimon. I know that a lot of Pokemon fans aren't Digimon fans just because they tend to think, oh, Digimon copied Pokemon. If you'd actually ever watched Digimon, you'd understand they're very, very different things. They just both happen to have Mon in the title, which I assume actually was an American thing and not a Japanese thing, because I believe it was Pocket Monsters and Digital Monsters in Japan. Digimon picked up an unnecessary amount of flack in later years, but at the time I remember it being really popular in the playground, and it was a good one for a game, for an adventure game, because Digimon compared to Pokemon story-wise was a lot more dramatic. There was a lot more sort of going on. Very quickly, my primary school picked up on Digimon has filled the Pokemon void. Let's ban Digimon. And it wasn't long after that Yu-Gi-Oh! Reared its ugly head. And the whole cycle started again. And once again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't pick up quite as much flack as Digimon does, and I guess that's because of the difference in the naming of Yu-Gi-Oh! To Mon. However, it was essentially the same thing. Here's a bunch of cards, let's sell them with an anime, and kids in the UK, playgrounds would go absolutely nuts for them. And we did, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards were really nice. Really, really nice. They felt a bit more grown up. At that point, I think I was reaching year 5 or year 6 when Yu-Gi-Oh! came out, and yeah, I liked Yu-Gi-Oh! I liked them all. What can I say? I'm a simple creature. You give me a monster on a shiny piece of card, and I'm happy with it. That's the end story of that for me. And then I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Getting banned. Was it this way around or was it the other way around? I don't really know. And then the last one, there were no cards involved. We thought we'd change the game up a little bit, and it was spinning tops. We did Beyblade. Who remembers Beyblade? Beyblade was awesome. Yeah, and I then remember, this is one of my most vivid childhood memories, is you could get customizable parts for your Beyblade in cereal boxes. So people had custom Beyblades. And then people had metal Beyblades, and they'd tear your plastic ones to shit. It was really cool. So why am I talking about all this stuff? It's the off season on the supermarkets. There's nothing going on. We found out our winner at Sainsbury's. I'm going to Sainsbury's now. Why am I going to Sainsbury's? We know they're the best for Pokemon cards. We are in the off season, but I just can't keep away. I can keep away. I hate supermarkets. But for the sake of the videos, I'm going back today to all of our semi-finalists to look for some of these Pokemon adjacent franchises. I want to see what is still around. Pokemon stood the test of time in a phenomenal way. Can't ever be disputed the size and the power of Pokemon. But did everything else have the staying power? Now, I have, over the years, also remained a big fan of Digimon. and I did collect the new Digimon card game when it first came out. I stopped when my local game store stopped stocking the cards, because that's where I used to go on my lunch break, get some cards. It was a really, really nice TCG. If you have anywhere that sells Digimon cards, I do recommend getting involved with that, because they do look great and they are actually slightly better value for money than the Pokemon ones. Yeah, so worth checking out if you do like Digimon as well as Pokemon. If you're a Pokemon purist and you won't touch Digimon, I understand. Those people do exist. But, you know, if you feel like giving it a chance, give it a chance. It's good. It's good shit. As for Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'm pretty certain Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still about. That became more than just a fad. I feel a bit like Pokemon. There ended up being like international tournaments. I used to work with a guy that had been like a finalist in Worlds and things like that. So I know that it had some staying power. So I expect I might see some Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. That's the one I expect to see the most. Beyblade, I've got no idea what happened to Beyblade. What happened to Beyblade? Because Beyblade was like mega huge for like, it felt like a few months, and then bang, gone. So if I find anything Beyblade, I'll be very surprised, but very pleasantly surprised. As for Digimon, I would love to find something from Digimon. I love Digimon. I don't expect to find something from Digimon. I feel like you have to go somewhere special to find Digimon, and that makes me sad, but that seems to be the reality. So we're going to visit each supermarket: Sainsbury's, then Asda, then Tesco's, then Morrison's. We're going to go to their toy sections. Maybe we'll visit stationery whilst we're at Tesco, because they're funny bunnies, and we'll see what we can find that isn't Pokemon, but feels a bit like Pokemon. Okay, so here we are at our first stop. This is the old reliable Sainsbury's. This is the only shop through the entire supermarket head-to-head series that had Pokemon cards every time I visited. So, you know, good for Pokemon cards. Will it be good for the other stuff? Like I said, I'm expecting I might find some Yu-Gi-Oh! No idea what's going on with Beyblade, and not expecting to find anything Digimon. There are others. I remember Monster Rancher. Do you remember Monster Rancher? That was cool. I don't think I'll ever see anything Monster Rancher. Card Captors. Remember that one? Card Captors. That was fun. And there are loads of other more recent ones. I think like Bakugan, Yokai Watch. But I'm going to ignore them because they never impacted my childhood. I'm doing a nostalgia trip for me, not for other people. So these are if these weren't kind of big things, big deals in the playgrounds in late 90s, early noughties, then they're of no interest to me. So yeah, let's go in and see what we've got. It's going to be interesting. Oh, that was a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting Beyblade to show up quite so quickly. And this one, they look metal, but they look quite slim by comparison to what I remember. But maybe my hands were smaller then, so they felt smaller, maybe. I went for this one with a kind of, some sort of Pteranodon. Talon Terror, it's called. I picked it because I have a thing for dinosaurs. I know that pterosaurs are not dinosaurs, but for the average viewer they are, so I'm going to pretend. I like dinosaurs, so seeing an ancient reptile, pterosaur or not, that was the one I wanted to go with. I also just couldn't resist Pokemon. So I got this little blister pack of Twilight Masquerade. I liked the Snorlax promo. What can I say? I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. You know what I'm like. Do you? I don't know. This is what I'm like. If I see Pokemon cards, I buy them. There you go. You know what I'm like. That's the last time I buy Pokemon cards today. I'm not here for Pokemon cards. Alright? Next week I will be, but this week I'm here for Beyblades and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon. Oh, I forgot! Another huge playground craze that I remember. Panini football sticker books. I forgot about that. There would have been some in there. Next time. Okay, so I'm here at Asda. This is Robbie Asda, where the blister packs. The blister packs are ripped open and robbed. So don't really know what to expect. I came to this Asda because it's close to the nice Sainsbury's, and I prioritise Sainsbury's because they are the champions. They are the belt holders for Pokemon cards, so I thought they might be good for related products, and the Beyblades proved me right. I went a bit newsreadery then. I don't know how I feel about that. I passed Lidl on the way here, and they were queuing to get in for its opening. I know I have an unhealthy relationship with supermarkets, or at least have developed one over the last few weeks, coming out every Saturday morning, the crack of dawn, to buy Pokemon cards, but queuing for Lidl? Queuing for Lidl? It's a mad world in these supermarkets. It's like the Wild West, honestly. Can't wait to not see them anymore. Right, I'm going to go in and see what I can find. Now, I know it's not really Pokemon adjacent, but it was a huge playground craze when I was a kid, so I'm going to count it. We have got the Panini Premier League stickers. I think the last time I collected Premier League stickers, probably about 2002, 2003. It was when they used to have their gold signatures on them. I don't know if they still do that. That was cool. We all used to sit there at break time and learn how to forge Premier League footballers' signatures. That was fun. I did do the World Cup a couple of years. It's more than a couple of years now, Mark. 2018, maybe? The really good World Cup. Do you remember the fun one with the sun and the beer throw-in? Yeah, I did that Panini sticker book. I think I basically completed it. So that was relatively recent. I did once, back in lockdown, I did a series of TikToks where I turned Premier League football teams into regional variants of Pokemon. That was a good merging of those interests. Maybe I'll revisit that one day. That was quite fun. I remember I started with Tottenham as Blaziken. It's like an ice type Blaziken. Yeah, that was fun. So we've got the football stickers done. We can tick that off. So now we're going to Tesco, and we're looking really for anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon. But if something else pops up, then I saw tech decks in there, and I thought of that for a moment, but that was kind of just before my time, really. Same as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These things they predate me a little bit. I'm not that old, so yeah. On to Tesco. Okay, so we have reached our Tesco of the day. Not knowing what to expect here, I will check out the toy section, but I don't know what is Christian and what is not regarding Beyblade, Yu-Gi-Oh! Digimon. I assume if Pokemon's not Christian, that they're not Christian either. Who knows? And then we'll check out the stationery section for that exact same reason. So, wish me luck. So, no Yu-Gi-Oh! As of yet, but I went and got myself another Beyblade. I suddenly realised that the one I bought in Sainsbury's didn't have a ripper. And I need a ripper if I want to play with it. So, they were also cheaper in Tesco. I don't know if they were on offer. They looked like there was like a percentage off thing. I don't know if that's permanent or not. But this with the ripper cost the same as the one without the ripper in they called rippers? I'm just calling it a rip. I'm calling it a ripper. I'm fascinated, like fascinated by what makes Beyblade acceptable where Pokemon isn't, as far as entertainers' Christian values go. I have nothing against any religion, by the way. I never grew up in any kind of religion, so I find the whole thing very fascinating. I'm fascinated by what makes Pokemon so bad, where Beyblade, which is, was essentially riding on the Pokemon's coat trails, what makes that acceptable? Why is that okay? I also didn't expect Beyblade to be so dominant. I thought Beyblade was going to be the one I saw the least this video. So, yeah, interesting, really interesting. And here we are, final stop of the video. It is Morrison's. This is the Team Rocket Morrison's, where the man stole the Pokemon cards in front of me. They haven't stocked Pokemon cards since that incident, making Morrison's a real dud during the supermarket head-to-head competition. However, they might have something Pokemon adjacent. There's only one way to find out. Okay, so not the best haul in the world, let down obviously by Morrison's, as always. But what we did get was some Premier League Panini stickers, very un-Pokemon-like. So we'll see what that feels like. We got a couple of Beyblade, which is a real surprise. Did not expect Beyblade. And of course, for the grand finale, we couldn't resist. We've got Twilight Masquerade blister pack to get open. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight in. Interesting that they come on a piece of paper. The first time I picked it up, I thought it was the book, the binder itself, but the binder for $4.99 would be a bit 2001. It's certainly not 2001. I don't even know if I'm going to know many Premier League players anymore. I haven't really followed football for a few years, so who knows. So you do a little rippity-roo. And we've got, okay, let's do this. I'm not going to recognise the footballers in the same way I recognise the Pokemon, so it's going to be a bit harder. We've got Declan Rice. We've got Ryan Yates. Kevin De Bruyne. Who are you? Justin Clue, yeah, him. And Rico Henry. Henri. If they're a footballer and they're called Henry, is it just naturally Henri? Is that what you do? Is that the rule? Do you know what? I'm not going to name these anymore. I'm just going to show them, and we're going to rattle through them really quickly, unless I super recognise someone. That's quite nice, actually. I like that. That's I'm going to keep that. Oh, a Liverpool shirt. This is sort of like papery texture. It's quite enjoyable. Oh, here's a shiny elite. Not shiny, but they're all sort of a bit shiny, aren't they? They don't have the signatures, which is disappointing. I wanted to forge some Premier League signatures. That was part of the fun when I was young. Yep, 2 packs to go. I don't know what's good and what's not. I assume they don't hold any value like Pokemon cards do, which is part of the reason why I'm so upset that they get so much better treatment in supermarkets than Pokemon cards do. That's a bit rude as far as I'm concerned. Michael Owen, I know him, not personally, but I know who he is. Last pack. Ooh. How wonderful. I think I probably would have found that more fun had I had the book to stick them into. Having just a pile of stickers feels a bit pointless, I suppose, but I did like this kind of fabric-y feeling
Spurs sticker, so I will stick that somewhere because it's a sticker. Right, Beyblade time. This is interesting. I haven't opened anything Beyblade related since I had my Frosties in 2003. So, let's see. How'd you get into it? How'd you get into it, he says. Let it rip. Okay, so this is going to be fun actually. We let it rip. Oh, that actually worked. Then we rip it, do we? There's your ripper. That's it looks a bit more, I don't know, sturdy than it used to. Right? Oh, smooth as well. I remember it being quite crunchy. Smooth that was. Then here we've got, I guess these are part of the blades. Do you call them blades? Of the bays. Oh, you're my bay. Oh, it's heavy. It's got some weight to it. The design of the monsters are way simplified compared to how they used to be. They used to be like really cool dragons and giant white tigers and things like that, and it's just a sort of very simplistic dragon-y type face. So they used to also have like little metal nibs on the bottom, and I wonder if they've stopped that because children were stabbing each other or something. I don't know. So that goes in there. Does it just go in? Do you have to screw it in? How does this work? Like, whoa, clicks in, and then that goes in there. And there we have our blade. And that's it. It doesn't have any like sharp nub at the bottom. That's a surprise to me. So that goes in there, and then I'm going to do it on my folder. You won't be able to see it, but it works. Let it rip is what I normally say after I've had a curry. Okay, letting it rip. And then this one, we don't get an extra spinner, but we do get an extra. We don't get an extra ripper, but we do get an extra blade. Beyblade. Maybe they're just called Beyblades. That would kind of make sense. This one's got more of a. I'm just going to use the teeth. That's what I do. This one's got more of a. This one's nub feels like it would be more effective. There's more of a kind of. This one was very flat. This one's more rounded. So what do? We stuck that in there and twisted. Well, make it quite complicated, don't they? Ugh, this makes riveting content. Me trying to stick a thing in a thing. There you go. And then nub in. There we go. There's our two Beyblades. There's a lot more metal than I expected on these Beyblades, and they don't look as cool as they used to. There's definitely something more cartoony about them, less sort of anime feeling. I'm not blown away, I won't lie, but it was cool. It was a little bit of a trip down memory lane. But now to go somewhere I'm a bit more comfortable. Twilight Masquerade. Let's end the video on a high. Imagine I get like the best pull of the entire channel on a video that was not supposed to be about Pokemon. That would be quite funny. So we've got this lovely Snorlax promo card, nice, and 3 packets of Twilight Masquerade. No offense to any football fans, but this is a little bit more exciting to me than the stickers were. So there's your code card, and the energy for me is going to be electric. So Poochyena, Hello Sand. I'm having like a brain blank on Pokemon because I've been looking at other stuff. Back into Pokemon mode. Timber, Spinarak, Cramorant, Kieran, Sunflora, Reverse Holo Sunken. Ooh. Reverse Holo Alakazam. There's something behind it because my thumb's twitching. There is Ursaluna EX. Very nice. Very, very nice. Code card for you. And energy for me. It's steel. Oh my god, Mark. Control your hands. Applin. Swirlix. Lipwick. Kuchiana again. Ambipom. Got that card a million times. Bug Catching Set. Aggron. Reverse Holo Morpeko. Reverse Holo Goldeen. And Chandelure. Code card for you. Energy for me. It's dark. So, Chansey. Clefairy. Shinx. Polchargeist. Lamora. Poliwrath. Hassel. Heron. Glaceon. And Frostlass. Nothing amazing in those packs, but it does go to show that Pokemon still reigns supreme. It was a real shame I didn't find anything Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh related or any other kind of TCG, but you know, we got some stickers, we got some Pokemon cards, and we got some bays, so happy days. But I will stick to Pokemon cards for now. I think it was a nice feeling to go back to opening something familiar after opening things not so familiar. I will be back next week with Sports Direct versus Ryman in the first episode of the UK High Street head-to-head for which store is the best for Pokemon cards. I'm very excited about this. I have a feeling that the High Street is going to be better than the supermarkets, or I really want it to be, because I hate supermarkets so goddamn much. So please, High Street, make sure you are stocked with Pokemon cards, because I am coming and I want your Pokemon cards. I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching.